Hello, everybody. So, I might be in a weird mood tonight again, but I personally like my weird moods better because I act so much more like myself, even though I'm really hyper. Yeah, my hair's a little funky tonight. I was taking some photos. I swear, like, I look 12, and so I'm acting 12. Maybe I should take it out. Hold on. And now I'm just gonna look 18, because that's about as good as we're gonna get. So I just look super young and I'm childish in my demeanor anyway. I feel like my EQ at least is like that of a 60-year-old just because I've been through a lot and I have like a 60-year-old body. Okay. Oh, that's precious. Okay. Major improvement. But I actually did my makeup today, guys, because I was taking photos. That doesn't happen often. What is happening up here? I don't know. Okay. Whoa! I'm so bad at this. Okay, that looks better. Okay. Did I even say anything in this entire time? I don't think I did. Okay, so we're gonna start from the beginning. So, today I want to talk about mistakes. Basically, if you feel like you're in a point in your life where you have messed up or you have made a mistake and you feel like there's no way out of it and that you're trapped and that you're not going anywhere or that you ruined your life or anything that's like giving you anxiety or stress over a decision that you made or something that you did that you're regretting, I just want to talk about the nature of mistakes. I believe that we are not as in control of things as we think we are. Everything is created so perfectly in the universe. If you take like the golden ratio, for example, where they find like a certain equation in the makeups of different like shells and plants and all sorts of things in nature that are not man-made but natural. Everything's just so perfect. The planets in our universe are perfect spheres, guys. Like, we can't even do that. I dare you to take some Play-Doh and create a perfect circle using just your hands. Like, it's not possible. And yet, here we are and everything is like perfect. Whatever or whoever made the universe, I don't believe they would just take a handful of humans and throw them onto the planet and let them run around willy-nilly and destroy it, which is what we're doing anyway because we have no respect for the environment, but I get really heated over this topic, so that is going to be another story for another day. Basically what I'm saying is I don't think there's any mistakes. I think because humans have free will, we can make our own mistakes, but I feel like the universe always finds a way to correct it or choose another path and like bring you out of it. But you have to be open to receiving a way out because I know sometimes we wallow in our mistakes for years and like maybe even longer, like forever. And you're not gonna find a solution when you're in that mindset because when you are focusing on the past and the regrets and things you wish you could change and stuff, you're not really looking at a solution or like how you can do better in the future. And so that's what I want for you guys, is to be able to move past whatever you think you did to mess your life up, I guess. But yeah, so ultimately I think that the universe works with whatever choice we make, and it will either lead us to a new path or lead us back to where we're supposed to be going. But you can't have the victim mentality, or you're never going to see the solutions that are being placed in front of you to move forward. So, are you guys ready for this analogy that I'm so proud of? And it's probably going to be super lame, but I'm going to use it anyway. I'm excited. Okay, so my analogy is I like to think of it as a highway. So the highway of life, you know, when you're on a literal highway, what happens when you miss an exit that you were supposed to get off on? You're like, oh shoot, and you probably swear a little bit. But then what do? you look for the next off-ramp or one that's going to connect and take you back to where you need to go. So we're all pretty good at like pivoting. When we miss an exit, we immediately look for the next exit. And I don't understand why other aspects of life don't work like that, because what happens if you're on a metaphorical highway of life and you miss the exit? Some people try to make a U-turn on the freeway and go back against the flow of traffic. Other people stop their car and don't move at all. And then some people just want to forget, so they like speed forward and they don't even look for like any other exits, so they're like eternally on the wrong freeway. Let's take me for example. So when I was a biology student, I knew that was a big mistake, but I did not like the idea of getting off the off-ramp when I had already gone a certain amount of time on this one highway, so I just kept speeding forward until eventually I crashed, I got sick, and the universe basically forced me to get off that highway. But, so that's like one example. There's others, like the U-turn one could be jumping back into a situation that wasn't good, but like you got out of, but then you like, if you're trying to force an outcome or you're trying to go back and like fix stuff, but it's just not meant to be, and so you're basically just like driving against the flow of traffic and it's just going to cause more damage. And I feel like the universe will give you like unlimited U-turns and unlimited exits, and it's just waiting for you to be ready to take one of those different routes. But we're so caught up in like the mistake and what happened, we don't have solution-based thinking, and so we're basically like putting blinders on, and all we can see is like either the road in front of us without any way of getting off, or we want to see behind, so we're just like staring in the rear view mirror, and of course if you just do that, you're probably going to crash. Once you find a way to forgive yourself for that mistake and work through it, and start looking for new ways of doing things, or like how to patch up whatever it was that is damaged, you'll be able to start seeing those signs from the universe. So you'll be able to find that U-turn or that off-ramp or that other street and go down that and improve your life. And then there's also going to be times when you want to do a U-turn to get back on the path you were going, and the universe is like, you have to go down this new street. But because we often have expectations about what we want in life or how we think things are going to go, and we have it like all planned in our mind, we tend to be closed off to the idea of going down a different street. And so like I feel like the majority of us, if we can't take that U-turn and go back to where we were, we just kind of like sit there in our car and park and just sit there and wait for like something to happen. But you're never going to get anywhere if you're always waiting to go back in a place where you can't make a U-turn, because sometimes it's just, in life, you're not meant to go back to that situation. You're only meant to move forward, like learn from your mistakes and amend whatever it was that you did wrong in that situation, and then move forward. And that's why it's so good like not to have expectations about anything, because whatever happens, you'll have a mindset where you can really be open to whatever comes your way. So when things go wrong, you'll be able to shift more easily because you don't have this pre-planned idea of how things have to work. So you're more open to a new plan faster. There's not really a specific way to learn how not to have expectations, but it's just going into each situation every day with an open mind and not sitting there planning out everything, because I assure you that if you plan everything in your head, that is not how it's going to go, which is really good for people with anxiety, because we tend to be overthinkers, right? So we tend to think about all of the what ifs and everything that can go wrong. So it's kind of comforting to know that like what you're worried about and what you're thinking about doesn't have to happen. It's not going to be as bad as you think, and it's not going to be as good as you think either. So just let it happen, because if you have high expectations, they'll probably always be lower than that, and if you have low expectations, they'll always be higher. But when you have low expectations, there's a lot of anxiety that comes with that, so you're basically like suffering. And so you don't want to have low expectations either, even if that means you'll always be pleasantly surprised, because you'll live an entire life of anxiety, and that's not good either. High expectations, that's like, you know, thinking someone is a certain good type of person and then they show you otherwise, and then you're completely crushed because you thought they were such a good person. This is a true story. But yeah, if you didn't have that, like, such a high expectation for that person, especially if as you're just getting to know them, then you wouldn't have been so disappointed when you found out that they weren't who you thought they were. So it's always nice to just go in with an open mind and accept whatever happens. Be like the river, and just flow with it wherever it wants to take you. And that takes a while too. Like, I am still guilty of having expectations for things, and I've been trying for like a year, and it's gotten a lot better. So it's just constantly being conscious about what you're thinking. If you're starting to plan everything out, stop yourself and just like let it go. Let the universe take over. And that's not saying like don't plan at all, but I'm just saying don't dwell on what you think is gonna happen. But it's always good to like have goals and stuff, so definitely plan those. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like every little minute of your day either worrying about it or thinking it's gonna go one way and then it totally doesn't happen that way. So just be open to the fact that things are not always gonna be like you want them to be. And that takes a lot of practice. So just tell yourself that. You can use affirmations like when you wake up in the morning. The affirmation I've used the most is just telling myself, going into a situation, that I don't want to be attached to any one outcome, and I'm just open to whatever happens, and I won't be attached to anything either way. That's kind of a lame affirmation, but that's the one I use. You never have to be stuck. If you feel like you are stuck and you can't get out of a situation, that is your mind tricking you. That is not you. Of course you are capable of doing that. Like, this world, most people in this world, aside from abusive people and stuff, want you to be happy. You know, like, the higher power, the universe, does not want to see you struggle. And so the only thing in your way is your own mindset. There's always a way to get out of situations. You just have to look for that path. And you may not be ready yet, and that's completely fine. It took me like 6 months to get to a space where I got my mental health under control, and that's okay. Like, it may take you longer, it may take you shorter, and don't have any expectation over how long it should take you. Before you're ready to like start looking for solutions for things, because sometimes we really have to experience something and feel all the emotions that come with that before we're ready to get out of it. And when you're in that space, that's totally fine to be there and just try and learn from it. Like, ask yourself, what is this situation like trying to teach you while you're here, while you're in it, while you're still sad about it? And just knowing that it's okay to be sad and be in a bad place. And I think that most of us go and get into bad places sometimes, and then we get ourselves out again, miraculously, even if it seems like there's no way out. No way out. I cannot pronounce words. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so don't even have expectations about that. But know that there is always a solution for you when you're ready to receive it. And it's okay not to be ready. And that's another thing I had to be okay with too, because I would get frustrated. Because all I wanted to do was like forgive the people that hurt me and move on, but like I could not physically do that. I would still get panic attacks every time like I saw the person's name and stuff, and it's still pretty bad, but I've gotten to a place where I can forgive them, and I have no like emotional connection to them anymore. Before, it like still hurt really bad, and so I wasn't ready to forgive them. And instead of getting frustrated about that, I accepted that, and I just kept praying about it and meditating about it, and eventually I got to a place where I could do it, and it was fine. I think when we panic about things, they never get better, because you're coming from a place of like, you're coming from a place where you feel like you have no other option, and so you're not going to be in the right mindset to move to a more positive space if you're already negative and panicking about like not being in a positive space, if that makes sense. So yeah, don't beat yourself up if you're not ready to move to a better place after a mistake or whatever it is that you made, but ultimately know that whatever you did or whatever happened to you that you think like ruin your life or you have regrets about or you wish you could do differently, I want you to know that there's always a way to fix it, and that doesn't necessarily mean to go back into that situation with those people or try to fix it that way, because sometimes the way to fix it is to learn from what happened and then take that, especially like if it's your fault. So you like lost a friendship or something because of something you did, the best thing you can do is learn from that. You can never get that friend back if there was a falling out or whatever, but you can look at your behavior and change it so it doesn't happen a second time. So in that way, I would consider the mistake to be fixed, basically. But yeah, I'm getting a little bit out of breath, so I think I'm going to stop the vlog for tonight. But I hope you guys found that a little bit useful, maybe comforting a bit, because I know that like I used to get really frustrated with myself, and so if you're feeling like that, just know I will be the person that gives you permission to feel that pain, and I also give you permission to be happy too. So when you're ready, let your own mind heal and start looking for ways you can pivot and get to a better space. I hope what I said made sense because I'm super tired. It's 11 p.m. So I might not have made a lick of sense. If I did make sense, it would be very helpful if you could give me a thumbs up so I know. And yeah, and it'll help get my stuff out in front of more people who may need it. Of course, if I don't make sense, I don't want it out in front of a bunch of people. So I still need your thumbs up so I know if my content is any good. I hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you guys for another vlog very, very soon. I love you all, and good night from your sparkly human unicorn.